The night he asked, "Want to share the table?" wasn't meant to change anything. It was said quietly, almost apologetically, the kind of sentence people throw out when they expect to be refused. The cafe was crowded, rain tapping the windows like impatient fingers, and every table was full except the one where a tired single dad sat with his young daughter coloring on a napkin. Across the room, a woman in a tailored coat stood alone, scanning for an empty seat, her phone buzzing with calls she ignored. She looked powerful, untouchable. But when their eyes met, there was something fragile there too. That was the moment she would remember for the rest of her life, and before this story ends, you'll understand why one small act of kindness can echo louder than success, wealth, or titles. If stories that touch the heart matter to you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because moments like these deserve to be shared. Ethan hadn't planned on being out late. His daughter Lily had begged for pancakes after her school recital, and the little neighborhood cafe was the only place still open. Money was tight, always tight, but he told himself memories were worth more than numbers in a bank app. Lily hummed happily as she colored, unaware of the quiet calculations running through her father's mind. Rent due, the car making a strange noise, another shift he'd have to pick up. Still, he smiled at her like the world was perfectly balanced. That was when he noticed the woman standing alone, the way her shoulders were stiff as if she carried invisible weight. Claire had spent her life in rooms where everyone wanted something from her. As CEO of a fast-growing company, she was used to respect that came with distance, admiration that felt cold. That evening, a board meeting had run late, a deal had fallen apart, and the silence afterward felt unbearable. She ducked into the cafe seeking noise, something normal. But there was nowhere to sit. For a moment she considered leaving, then the man's voice reached her, gentle, uncertain. "Want to share the table?" It wasn't flirtation. It was kindness, plain and simple. She hesitated, surprised by how much the offer disarmed her. Lily looked up and smiled, scooting her crayons aside. "You can sit here," she said, as if welcoming an old friend. Claire felt something loosen in her chest as she sat down, placing her phone face down for the first time in days. They exchanged names, small talk that felt oddly safe. Ethan apologized for the mess of crayons. Claire laughed and said she hadn't colored in years. Lily pushed a blue crayon toward her. "You can borrow this," she offered. Claire took it like a gift. They talked about ordinary things, school projects, bad coffee, the rain. Ethan mentioned Lily's mother had passed away 2 years earlier, not dramatically, just as a fact of life. Claire didn't know what to say, so she listened. No one recognized her, no one asked about stock prices or strategy. She was just Claire, sharing a table. When the check came, Ethan reached for it automatically. Claire protested, but he shook his head. "I invited you," he said, embarrassed. She noticed his worn jacket, the careful way he counted bills. Something inside her wanted to stop him, but another part knew refusing would steal his dignity. So she thanked him instead, sincerely. They parted ways outside under the awning. The rain had slowed to a mist. Lily waved enthusiastically. "Bye," she called. Claire waved back, smiling more than she had in weeks. She walked to her car feeling lighter, but also unsettled. That night, lying in her penthouse, she couldn't sleep. The memory of that table, the crayons, the quiet strength in Ethan's eyes kept replaying. She realized it had been years since someone offered her something without expecting anything in return. Life went on for Ethan, as it always did: work, parenting, small victories, small defeats. A week later, his car broke down on the way to work, and he lost a day's pay. Another night, Lily asked why everyone else's parents seemed less tired. He hugged her and said tired didn't mean unhappy. Still, the world felt heavy. He never expected to see Claire again. She was just a passing kindness, a moment in a long line of days. For Claire, that night became a quiet anchor. In meetings, when voices grew sharp and egos clashed, she thought of Lily's crayons. When investors pushed for ruthless decisions, she remembered Ethan insisting on paying the bill. She began questioning the kind of leader and person she wanted to be. One afternoon, she asked her assistant to look into community programs for single parents. Not as a PR move, but because it mattered to her now.